So welcome to my cup of tea. You see I have a very beautiful cup of tea here that I want to take, and I'm going to take it with my buns. These are buns made out of sweet potato, that is Irish potato, and yeah, Irish potato and normal flour. So come with me as I take. As I take, my daughter wants to have one.
Thank you.
So she has taken one. So I want to take you through the process of making them. These are scones that you can make for a party. You can make them for school-going children. You can make them for anybody who wants to change. You want to improve on eating Irish potato. Apart from making chips, you can use them to make such nice scones. They are sweet and delicious. So come and I take you through. The process. Hi, welcome guys. Today we want to cook Irish potatoes in a different way. We are going to make donuts out of Irish potatoes. Now the first stage of doing that is for you to select good potatoes. Make sure that you select potatoes that are red. When I mean red, there are those potatoes that are deeper red than here. These ones are reddish, but they are not very red. Now, why do you have to select such potatoes? It's because they are powdery and they will help the dough to expand well. So don't pick the potatoes that are white. You know the ones I'm meaning. Those ones don't have powder. So now the first process is for you to select good potatoes, as I have done, depending on the size of the dough you want to make. So these ones will make for us maybe like 20 donuts. So select good potatoes, clean them, and then after you have cleaned them, you steam them. So I'm going to steam these ones over water. Of course, I'm going to peel them and then steam them over water. Likewise, you can steam them with their peelings and then peel them after you have steamed. These ones I'm steaming because I'm cooking sweet potatoes, so I'm going to put them on top of sweet potatoes. Then after they have boiled, after they are ready, I'm going to peel them and then begin the process of making dough. So our first process is to make sure that we have good Irish potatoes, clean them, and then steam them. So see you in the next stage. Okay, hi guys. So now we are ready. Our potatoes are ready. So we begin by first of all mixing the yeast. So you get 1 tablespoon of yeast. This is yeast. You get 1 tablespoon of yeast. You know, you can buy yeast in the supermarket. Apparently there is no yeast in small packets in here, but in other places you can get yeast in small packets. So you buy I think they are selling it, is it 100 grams or something like that? So you can buy that packet and just keep it in your house. So once you have yeast ready, you will add, we want to add their milk. We shall add milk like 250 ml or a glass. A glass is normally 300, so this is 250. Just note where the glass is not full. This is 250 ml. When this glass is full, it is 300 ml. So I want us to mix the milk into the yeast. Preferably make the milk warm. Warmer milk is better for the yeast. Don't use cold water. I mean cold milk. Even when you're using water, don't use cold cold water into yeast, you slow the process of dissolving the yeast. So this mixture, you dissolve it nicely. Dissolve it well, dissolve it well, dissolve it well. Okay. So I'm going to leave it aside to dissolve and then work on the potatoes. So as I had told you, my potatoes, I steamed them. So let me peel them quickly. Remember, the whole idea of steaming is not to allow water to touch them, because if water enters the potatoes, then you will not get the rising ability that we are looking for. So clean the potatoes. You could also have boiled them when you have peeled them, but I opted not to peel them. So now remember, I'm going to use like three-quarters of a kilo of flour. So clean the potatoes nicely. I have this cat that has refused to go to sleep. This is its time for sleeping, but it will not sleep, so I don't know what it wants. So then I will cut them to enable me mash them nicely. So potatoes are mashed better when they are hot. When they cool, they will not mash nicely. So I have finished slicing my potatoes. I want to put them here and mash them. Now I can't locate my masher, my potato mashing machine, so just use a I will use this. Mash them nicely. It's better if you have the masher, but machine that mashes. So if you use the the red potatoes, as I had told you. The red potatoes are nice in starch. They have flour, and I haven't used all the potatoes, so basically these are 2 potatoes. So my potatoes need an 8. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add the egg. So I will add the egg in here and continue mashing. Just mash nicely. Can do it with a fork to get them mashed nicely. And this is when the masher does it so nicely, as you know. I used to have it, but then it rusted, so I couldn't rust it anymore. It's supposed to be stainless steel. When it started rusting, I did away with it. Okay, you want to mash them until they are totally, the way like you are going to give the baby. And that's why I like the red potatoes. By now they would have mashed nicely, but they are not in the market. Okay. We mash them. Okay. Just need to mash them until they have no crumbs. Okay. Okay, this I'm through with the mashing this one. So this is the bowl we want to use for mixing everything. So what we are going to do is, in this bowl we need flour. This is a normal all-purpose flour. Don't use the one which is self-raising. Okay, so we this is 1 kilo. I want to use half of this, so I'll just measure, which is 500 grams of flour is what I will use to make my donuts. So in here in our flour we want to put some sugar. So in the yeast I want to put like 4 tablespoons of sugar. 2, 3, and 4. And 4. Just mix well. We are doing this because, remember, yeast eats sugar. Did you know that yeast is a living organism? So yeast eats the sugar, and sometimes if you don't put enough sugar, it will not be sweet because the yeast has eaten all the sugar. Okay, the sugar has. Now some people like adding some salt. They call it a pinch of salt. So I will put in a pinch of salt into my flour. These are where sugar and salt works together to give it a very nice taste. Okay, so normally we create a hole here. We create a hole there. I want to put some cinnamon. The buns smell very nice when they have cinnamon, but I will not put a lot. So I will just put a little. This is cinnamon. Okay. Then I will mix together. I will also add a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil. Add some olive oil. You can also add butter. If you have melted butter or Blue Band, it also does well. It gives it a good finishing touch. Okay, so now I can mix. At this stage, I can add in my mashed potato. Okay, so we mix it. Now I can use my hand. Remember, when you are baking, always make sure that your hands are clean. Likewise, you can use brown flour if you are sensitive to you are healthy, you are about health eating, so you can use white flour, I mean brown flour, unpolished. We just need to knead this until it is a finished dough. You know how bread dough looks like. So I'll put it on here and knead it from here. We need to knead all the now my kneading is to ensure that I don't see potato and flour are mixed, because right now I can see potatoes. So I want to knead this flour until I can't see any potato, so that it is totally, potatoes are totally mashed. That's why it is good to use that mashing thing, so that you see, you don't see potatoes. So my work right now is to knead until I can't see potato. Just need. Want to put some olive oil to allow me because it's sticking so much. Just to allow me work with the dough easily. I'll put it back into this container. So my dough is ready. I'm going to keep it somewhere. Apparently there's no sun here where we are since morning, so I'm going to cover it and leave it to rise for maybe 1 hour, because remember we are going to bake, we are not going to deep fry. So I leave it to rise and then we shall come back and cut it to put it into the oven. Okay, thank you. So my dough has raised, not as much as I wanted it to, because it's supposed to have doubled. So what you do, you knead it again. Once you have again. So once our mixture is now ready, so we need to cut it. So I'm going to roll it and cut it into small portions to put in the oven. So you roll it nicely. Not too thin, but you know, in like half an inch or less than half an inch of the rolling of the dough. Then we cut it. So once we have rolled, I'm going to cut into circles. Use a sharp container to cut. If you have cutters, you can use them. So those are the first I'm going to cut them. So my pan is ready. Remember, these ones are not for deep frying. So just apply some oil on the pan so that they don't stick. Okay. Then I'm going to put them on the pan. Leave some space because they are going to raise. They are donuts, so we are supposed to put a hole. So I'm going to align them. So it looks like you need not to make them so thin. So when you are rolling, roll them a bit thicker. You see, this is thicker. Otherwise, they are not raising very well when they are very thin. Okay. So roll them thicker. So now I'm baking them in the oven. See how they look like. I have added sim on top I have added sim. I spread sim on top of them so that they get ready nicely. So as you can see, they are getting ready well. They are raising well.